Anchor, and I'm the president of Best Buddies. We are the organization on campus that sponsors Spread the Word to End the Word Week. Our campaign asks people to pledge to stop saying the R word as a starting point towards creating more accepting attitudes and communities for all people. This is our biggest initiative on campus, and our goal is to spread awareness across the TCNJ community. Before we begin, I want to share a quick video with you all. And for those of you who don't know, Where Hope Grows, that's the movie they were referencing. We watched that on Monday. It's a really great movie. If you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend it. Okay, so our hope is that after tonight, every single person in this room leaves having taken the pledge and will help to spread the word to end the word. Now I would like to introduce Angelica and Ashley, who have worked so hard to make tonight a success. They will also be the
Hi everyone, I'm Angelica Vanderbilt.
Hi everyone, I'm Ashley Takinen. So, I just wanted to introduce our first speaker. He is the Dean of the School of Education. So everyone, please put your hands together for Jeffrey Task.
To want to put things in categories. I mean, that's all of us. We say, you know, left, if like politically we talk about liberals and conservatives and moderates. You know, we're always trying to put people in categories. And it's helpful to do that when it works. And categories are known as constructs. That's artificially human inventions that humans use to make sense of the world. And they're very convenient. But sometimes, an example in modern times, is gender, where we're used to think as male, female, as two categories. We now know that it's much more of a continuum than a categorical system. And that helps us rethink ideas of gender, or whatever it may be. So let's talk about language. Let's take the word dumb. What does dumb mean? What's the origin of dumb? It's from being unable to speak. And way back in the day, when there were people who couldn't speak for whatever reasons, people tried to make sense out of it, and so they made a category. They said these people are dumb. And because they did it, we got another human tendency that all of us have to try and make a point. We use hyperbole. We exaggerate the meaning of a word. So we have certain words in the language that people use as insults because it helps them make their point to exaggerate. And I'll give you a little bit of history. Some of this may surprise you, but we didn't always have the word retarded or retard. I have to look this up here now. One of the words, and this is a British official statute in the United Kingdom, is the word is an idiot. An idiot, according to the rules there, is an individual with an IQ of less than 20.
So I was gonna wing it, but people that know me know that I should not wing it. My name is Bonnie McConville, and usually at night I'm watching Netflix. But today this is an important topic, so I would like to talk to you about not using the O. And I'm happy to be here. When I was younger, it wasn't a big deal to say the O. It meant you would say it to your friend who was being idiotic. You would say, gosh, you're such a retard. But as generations change and as years change, the word brought a whole new meaning. It started to be more offensive and to mean that someone had a disability. Just being idiotic, that it was more offensive. For me, I think of it as using the word gay. People would say it and they wouldn't realize the effect it would have on people. But as generations change, the word that people use joking around with their friends brought a whole new meaning. And started to hurt more and more people. If someone said the R word to me, even as a joke now, I would explain to them why that is incorrect to say and why they should never say it. So right now, as I'm reading you my speech, I want you to think of a word that you might have said to someone, not even realizing that it could hurt them. Think of it. So next time you're about to say something to someone, think about it before you say it. Think about the effect it could have on that person and what it could cost them for the rest of life. Let's stand up together and for others for not saying the R word. Thank you and good night.
Hi everyone. For those of you who don't know me, even though I was just introduced, my name is Catherine Killian. I'm a junior here at TCNJ. For tonight's program, I'm going to be talking about someone that's really special and near and dear to me, my oldest sister, Jessica. Jessica was my family's firstborn, and all throughout my mom's pregnancy with her, she was a healthy baby. It wasn't until my mom was delivering her that there were complications. The doctor missed a step in the birthing process, the umbilical cord was wrapped around her brain, and therefore it temporarily took out oxygen and paralyzed her on her right-hand side. This, therefore, creating her to have what's called cerebral palsy. For those of you who don't know what cerebral palsy is, it is, technically, an abnormal development or damage to the parts of the brain that control movement, balance, and posture. Therefore, she had to be left-handed, she couldn't play sports, and in order for her to be able to even drive, she had to have a special wheel put into her car. And just basically in all, she wasn't able to socially adapt fully. However, she did beat all the odds that were put against her. She graduated from Monmouth University in 2011, and my family was ecstatic. She studied psychology, and one day we were at the kitchen table, and she said to us, "I know what I want to do. I want to give back to those that are similar to me. I want to be a teaching assistant for children with disabilities." How selfless, right? My sister, who was picked on by other kids, who didn't have a lot of friends in high school, and suffered a lot of jealousy problems with those with full mobility, was able to overcome all of this and realize what her true potential was. The first time I ever heard the R word in my life. Now, Jessica and I are 10 years apart, so when she was starting to search for these jobs, I was still in middle school. The night before, Jessica told my family that she had a job interview, and we were really excited for her. But I wanted to have that one-on-one sister time with her to celebrate, so I asked if she'd pick me up after school the next day. So the next day rolls around, 3 o'clock happens, and I go outside, the bus has already left, and I can't find Jessica anywhere. Moments later, my mom comes to pick me up, and I'm very confused. "Where's Jessica? What happened? How'd the interview go?" All my mom could say to me was, "You're just gonna have to let her tell you what happened." So when we get home, I rush through my garage door, and I hear my sister sobbing upstairs. I sprint to my bedroom, and I begin to ask her what's wrong. She can't speak, she's shaking, she's terrified, and so am I. She looks up at me and says, "I walked into the room where they were going to interview me, and I see that he has my resume in hand." The first thing he says to me is, "Why are you walking so funny?" So I tell him about the cerebral palsy, and that therefore creates a limp. He has then the audacity to laugh in my sister's face and say, "Like I would ever hire a retard at my school, you can leave." Oh my God. I couldn't believe it. I was 12 years old, and all I wanted to do was strangle this man. My sister, my role model, who had to fight her way to be accepted, was demoralized by such a hateful word. Now, I don't know about you, but when you love someone and they tell you something like this, they tell you something that they just can't even live anymore, all you can think about is how worthless they feel, and it just makes you so angry and forever change.
It made me really upset. When we were younger, the R word had a different meaning than it does today. I think the use of the R word today is completely wrong. Everyone's society is different, but with the correct information, we can start to change people's perspectives of these differences and become more open-minded. We need to start accepting everyone's differences and stop using the R word. Thank you for taking time to listen to me. Good night. Drive or walk home safely.
I feel like it's a bad word to use. I think it's a bad word because it's a mean word and it's very rough. Also, the R word means that someone is not capable of something, even further. My disability is IDD. IDD stands for International Learning Disability, and it means that I learn differently from other people. Just because I and other people with IDD learn differently from other people does not make us less than others. When I was younger, I didn't know about the R word. But now, once I came to college, when I hear people say, it makes me feel angry. And it's not good. If someone said the R word, I will tell them that it's not a nice word and they don't know who the person they are thinking about it. It's like just a person. And I want them to judge somebody. Before you judge somebody and use the R word, it's important to get to know the person because they could just like you. And it's important to respect them. Just remember, everyone's different, but respecting him or her. You never know, you might make a new friend. Thank you.
Specifically Ashley, for giving me the opportunity to stand here today and spread the word to end the word with all of you. Since the day I was born, I was given a gift that will forever outdo any amount of money or neatly wrapped package under a Christmas tree. I was given a sidekick, a snuggle buddy, a secret keeper, a dance partner, a best friend, but most importantly, a sister. Lindsay is my everything. She's the shortest 22-year-old you'll ever meet, coming in at a mere 4 foot 11 inches. She can usually be found singing to the soundtrack of Mamma Mia, looking through pictures in a book, or watching fire engine videos on YouTube. Lindsay loves dogs, counting the ducks in the pond near her house, taking long, unnecessary naps, and snuggling. Ooh, sorry, that was rude. I was lucky enough to have her put into my life. Although I caught on through the years of learning and living that many people don't view Lindsay as a gift and a blessing the same way I did. Lindsay was born with severe microcephaly, an uncommon birth defect that affects the size of a developing baby's head, which also affects the size of the brain and the brain not fully developing. As an infant, Lindsay had feeding problems and didn't reach milestones where other babies did. After seeing many doctors and specialists, along with microcephaly, she was diagnosed with global development delay and classified with autism spectrum disorder. While Lindsay is extremely well behaved and quite adorable, there are some qualities about her that don't go unnoticed. Her head is very tiny, as are her facial features. She can't speak, read, or write. She's extremely sensitive, vigorously back and forth, and usually walks upon her tiptoes. This is what I grew up with, and I never knew a sibling to be any different than that of my own experience. It wasn't until the end of elementary school where I became aware of the lack of knowledge that people have towards others with a disability. Lindsay was constantly being mocked, stared at, and pointed at. She was called dumb or the R word on a regular basis by children and adults alike. It broke my heart to watch such a tiny girl with the most positive. Someone had the audacity to belittle her straight to her face, knowing very well she had no clue what they were saying. My dad would tell me that people just didn't understand, and my mom would say that the world could be such a cruel place sometimes. But their statements, no matter how true, never justified what my own big sister was being subjected to. I've tried to rid the harmful words that others say from my memory, and for the most part, I've been quite successful. But there are always those certain instances that result in enough.
My name is Katie. I'm a junior, and I'm an early education psychology major. So I'm going to talk about how I've never been affected by the R word. I'm going to teach you guys how other people can be affected by it. In the thousands or millions of times the R word has been used, it has never been for a good reason. It's hurtful. I've heard the R word used before, and it has made me feel angry and upset. I have a couple of stories I would like to share with you all. Back in 2007, at a social science fair at my middle school, not only was I representing the student council, I was actually on the E-board, and I was the co-director of organizations and management operations. I had done a project on Christopher Reeve. He was a famous actor who was best known for playing Superman, and he was paralyzed after falling off a horse. During the fair, I stepped away for a few minutes. Retarded. They didn't know that I was listening, but I was. I was upset about not only hearing what they were saying, but they were making fun of my project also, because they were also making fun of someone with a medical disability. Another story I would like to share is that when I was in the 5th grade, my language arts teacher used the R word during class and in front of a bunch of students. One time we handed in all our homework. After she looked at it, she turned around and looked at us and said, "You are all retarded. You all didn't do your homework right." I guess she didn't know that I was listening, but I was. Hearing that made me feel uncomfortable. When you overhear someone or some people use the R word, you should all take a stand and tell them to stop. In both stories I have just told you, I took a stand and told an adult what was happening because I knew it wasn't right. As we come together and listen to these monologues, we should all solemnly swear and promise to never use that R word again, and never let anyone around us use it again. Let's all take that pledge. Thank you.
And I am the Student Life Coordinator for the Career and Community Studies program here at TCNJ. What some of you may not know is I am a recent graduate of TCNJ, only graduating from the 5-year special ed program just last May. While doing my undergrad and my master's here, I also served as a house mentor, academic, and vocational mentor for the CCS program. I am also the sister of a young man who has ODD, ADHD, and specific learning disabilities. And along with that, I work with a young man with autism who lives in the nearby area. And I happen to think he might be my soulmate, but that's a totally different story. With all that being said, the Spread the Word to End the Word initiative is very important to many people who have touched my life in so many ways. There's nothing that infuriates me more than someone using the R word. However, I'm someone who likes to give people the benefit of the doubt. And I like to think that they don't use the R word to intentionally offend or hurt another, but rather use it out of ignorance and lack of knowing a better word. Just as in other stories told today, some people just simply know that this word is outdated. However, there are individuals out there who unfortunately do use the R word to be spiteful and cruel. Nonetheless, even these individuals demonstrate ignorance and perhaps do not know any better and need some guidance. Do me a favor, close your eyes, raise your hands. And again, it's nothing to be ashamed of because you just didn't know. And what is important is that you offer some guidance and let people know how offensive this word can be. And guidance is exactly what you need to offer others. That is why I come to you today to offer a lesson on how to spread the word to end the word. I mean, what kind of professor would I be if I didn't come here with a lesson, right? Although it is important to spread the word to end the word to others, how you spread the word is critical. If your response to someone's use of the R word is aggressive, hostile, or belligerent, you now become as disrespectful as that person. So when responding to someone's use of the R word, it's not only important that you say something, but it's how you say it. And how you say it should always be polite. Rather than lashing out on someone, you can use some of these key phrases. You could say, "You may not know this, but I happen to live with 4 students with intellectual disabilities, and they brighten my life. Please don't use that word." Please don't use that word. Have you tried using the word ridiculous instead? Hey, using that word is a sign of ignorance, and I know you're a well-educated person. Or you could say, "You may not know this, but I have a brother with autism, and using that word is not very respectful of him. You may not realize it, but that word is no longer socially acceptable. If you'd like, I could take a minute and explain to you why." As you pledge to spread the word to end the word, I ask you to always do so in a polite, respectful, and efficient manner. Take the initial anger and frustration that you may feel, shake it off, and use one of these key phrases to be a leader and a role model. And that concludes today's lesson. Thank you for listening.
I am a freshman in the Career Community Studies program. I want to thank you for coming out tonight. I want to point out before I begin, I could not have done this speech without my house mentor, Sophia, one of the other house mentors, Abby, and my best buddy, Melissa Hens. I also want to thank my friends, the mentors, and professors, especially Professor Smith, who was always here to give us advice or just to be there to listen. But mostly I want to thank my mother, who could not be here tonight. Without her, I would not be the person who I am standing here today. My disability is called Intellectual Development Delay, or IDD. It is not always called that. Back when I was younger, to this day, people still ask me, is that what my disability is called? I tell them no. change to the harmful effects that affected people like me. The R word makes me feel like no one cares about my feelings to children with disability. The R thing was an old term that people used to call me AR, thinking it was okay to call me that, because that's what my disability was called. To me, it hurt my feelings, and this is why I'm here today. And to prevent saying the R word, be a leader to others who are followers, to spread the word to end the world. Only you can make a difference. Thank you.
And help you to choose the right words when you're describing family members, friends, peers, anyone in our community. We encourage you to sign our board outside. Please do. There's lots of signatures. We're really excited about it. But if you haven't, please sign. And please choose not to say the R word, and maybe be an advocate like our speakers against the R word for that choice.
So our journey does not have to end here, though. It is our sincere hope that upon hearing the words tonight, that you will help educate others about the harmful impacts of the R word, and that you would choose to speak up when the R word is used. It is time we introduce a new R word, respect, because it is what we all deserve. Thank you again, and please check out our merchandise, sign our pledge, and join us for some cookies. So just want to thank you all for coming out tonight, and let's give one last round of applause.